Chapter 2, Betrayal. This is Crisis Core Reunion, and we are heading off into some missions. So if you've never played this game before, guys, whenever you hit a save point, you have access to essentially an infinite farm. You can grind missions to your heart's extent, getting items, accessories, materia, and abilities, and you will have a really fun time, because this game is really, really cool. And that is how it is designed to be played. It is designed for you to go through the missions incrementally, it's designed for you to iterate on your character and build him up and level him up, and that is one of the joys of the classic JRPG formula. However, because I'm silly, I've decided to try and circumvent this, and I'm only going to be doing missions to try and get certain features, and other than that we're going to be heading for the main plot points earlier, and it's going to take a lot of effort to get through them. However, the strategies that I'll be using will translate to your playthrough, so if you are struggling and you found this video, I can give you some tips that will help you out. But we're taking on two of the... is it Vajarandra? I don't know how you say that guy's name, it's a crazy name. I'm going to call him Vaj. So, double Vajers, sounds like a pornographic nightmare. Probably can't say that on YouTube, I'm immediately demonetized. But this enemy is the same thing as the boss we just fought. The difference here is, he's probably a little bit beefier, so if he hits you, you will probably die. And if he's already hit me, you probably don't die, and I didn't see that because I was too busy talking. But the idea is the same. We're going to use this enemy, and we're going to do everything we can to do as much damage to him. And the reason that guy's not moving is because I stunned him. And if you look at the icons on these creatures, there is a line that goes around the outline of the square to tell you how long these status effects last. And it's a very subtle piece of UI design which I like a lot. And if you ever see that stunned symbol, it means you can do whatever you want and the enemy cannot answer your options. Yeah, we're not getting killed by these hits, it's not too bad at all. It's just taking a long time because, you know, we can't hurt them as much as they hurt us. But a couple of things, that right there needs to be discussed too. So if you see that happening, guys, and you wonder what that is, I'm wondering the same. Every so often there are these narrative moments where they give you this weird cloud effect and then they show you some cutscene and it interrupts the fighting. And it's the most inopportune and annoying feature in this entire game, and I have no idea why they did it like that. But this right here is important as well. Do you notice how it says I'm getting crits when I attack him? The best way to do damage to an enemy is to attack them from behind. It gives you automatic critical hits. The issue with it is some enemies are really good at turning around, some enemies' hitboxes for the back of them are kind of ambiguous and can be hard to hit, and it makes many monsters just rotate instead. So, as much as hitting them from behind is a great strategy, you should always try and do it, sometimes you can't. Sometimes the time it takes you to get to the back of them, you've already wasted your opportunity to damage. So, as long as you know that back attacks are what you want to do, that will help you in certain situations when you can get them. But if you see me not hitting people in the back, guys, it's not because I don't want to, it's because a lot of the times it takes too long to get there. That's not mentioning when you hit them and they auto-rotate like that Wu-Tai Trooper just did. But we just got the no AP cost, so we can spam the abilities as much as we want. My early abilities are going to be me using the assault spin technique. This move is really, really good, especially when you get more damage, because it hits multiple times and it hits very quickly. I've only played this game twice. I streamed it, my first playthrough, over on Twitch, and then I did this recording run, and I got the jump materia really quickly on my playthrough casually, and I didn't actually remember how I did it. So it made me think that I had to come into these missions and open some treasure chests and maybe get it as a reward, and that's pretty much what we're doing here, guys. We're doing some missions to try and get the jump materia. Spoiler alert, I don't think I get it. I get it quite late. The reason I think it's so important is because jumping is completely invulnerable, and you can use it to stop pretty much every move you are struggling with. And if you do a well-timed jump, not only will you come down with good damage, especially if you're a physical build, but you will stop yourself from being damaged. And once we get that materia, I am no longer going to be using the traditional dodge for real dodgers, I'm going to jump instead. And once you understand how powerful the jump is, you begin to realize just what you can do in the combat, because this is a massive batch of iframes to enable you to circumvent the problems. And right here I'm showcasing the escaping. Escaping in this game is actually quite skillful because the enemies will come and whack you, and if they whack you it interrupts you. But there are a few things I heard when I was playing this casually which I cannot speak of. The people that know more about this game can probably fill you guys in with that. But someone in my stream chat said if you run around the vicinity of the arenas, you will get less battles. I don't know if that's placebo, I don't know if that's just all in our heads, but I definitely found it to seem like that works. And you won't see me doing it in some of these early missions. He just got stunned there because of the ice. One of the cool things about Dark Blizzard is that it will ambiently stun people if they can be stunned. So definitely use it as much as you can. And then here we have the airstrike, which is a pretty good one. I like that one. But look at the damage I have to do to this guy. Like, this guy is just not going to die. And if he hits me, he'll probably hit like a truck. At the end of the game, guys, when I couldn't kill the last boss and I had to go and get better items, I was doing those Mission 9 missions at around level 40, and every enemy was taking at least 5 to 8 minutes to die, and I was hitting them with gravity, like repeated gravities, and if they touched me, they were doing like 11,000 damage, and I had about 3,000 HP. It was so dumb. So boring too. I will not be showcasing those missions, guys, because it's just the strategies I do the whole game, and it takes forever. It takes so long. But it was worth it, because when I came back, I had the ability to trivialize the final boss, which was really nice. Because I fought the final boss for about 18 minutes, and I got him to half HP. And I'm sorry, but yeah, I'm not doing that. But you'll be happy to know that I've got a strategy that is very easy to acquire. I say it's not easy to acquire, that's bullshit. It's hard to go through those missions, it really is. Those missions are a nightmare, but just keep respinning them until the DMV favours you, and you get your license back, and then you can hopefully kick some ass. But when you get there, hopefully you'll be level 80 or something, and you'll have tons and tons of materia, and you'll just come in there and shit on everybody with really good magic. But we're now coming against the Balo with the Wutai soldiers. This monster's interesting because it throws fire at you. The cool thing about the spells in this game is once you get hit by them enough, you'll learn the timing on them and they become really easy to dodge. And then later on, depending on how many missions you do, you'll get access to accessories that absorb their elementals. And for instance, I ended up getting, I think it was the Wizard Amulet, which makes you absorb every element. And when I was fighting Sephiroth, when he summons those Materias that are usually a big pain in the ass because they attack you while he does, I was using them to heal myself. So I would fight him, he would inevitably hit me like a truck, and then they would heal me. And they were one of the reasons why I was able to do it. Because to give you an example, guys, I was checking the wiki. Sephiroth on normal has I think he has something like 50,000 HP. On hard, he has 220,000 HP. That's the increase. Like, the HP thresholds go through the roof. It's really, really obnoxious, because I kind of felt like normal was a good pacing. Because I beat normal in the same way. I didn't engage with any of the side stuff, I just did the main missions, and I got to the end of the game at like level 35. And it was tricky, because it meant that I had to dodge and everything hit me really hard, but it led to me being a better player of the mechanics rather than a more learned player that knows the systems. And the cool thing about a Final Fantasy JRPG is this game is using a lot of things from Final Fantasy VII, and I've been playing that game for 20 years, so I have a decent grasp on what the moves do, I have a decent grasp on what the enemies are and the weaknesses and things, and that was me using an item by accident right there, guys. That was not intentional. That's not voiding the rules because I was trying to sprint during a fight, and that button is a shortcut to use what item you've got selected. So I apologise if anybody sees that and thinks, oh my god, the run is dead, you cheated, I'll never watch you ever again. That's fine, but that's just what it is. But this right here is how powerful the magic is. So this magic is stunning these enemies, and then I'm dunking them and hitting multiple people. The only issue is I have limited MP, and I can't do it anymore, so instead I have to come in and finish them off. But do you see how cool that was? The combat system in this game is so good. I think it might be my favourite combat in a Final Fantasy. Type 0 is really, really good, but this has got some things that I just really, really enjoy. I'd love to see them take this forward. Like, do you know what I think is really tragic? Somebody asked on the first video why I didn't cover the Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings here, guys, but I think the Final Fantasy VII Remake is the worst remake ever made. I hate that game, and I will never play it ever again. That's my opinion. You might love it, that's awesome, you got a great game, I didn't, it broke my heart. I don't get, however, why that game doesn't have this game's combat. Like, the combat in this game is legitimately interesting to somebody who plays action games. If Final Fantasy VII Remake had this combat, I would have skipped all the cutscenes, all the dialogue, and I would have just played the game, and I might have had a decent time. Because I don't think this game has a very good story, and I think the cutscenes are definitely showing their age, and the dialogue and the way everything animates is kind of goofy. The voice acting on this version is fucking god-awful, by the way. If you can get the original voice actors, totally install that mod. You will thank me afterwards, because it's like, Jesus Christ. Whoever they hired to do Zack's voice should never work in voice acting ever again. I can't even begin to understand how he got past the screening process of that interview. This dude walks in, and I'm like the director, and I hear this guy doing the lines. I am going to buy him a bus ticket to leave the fucking planet. Because, oh my god, I don't usually talk about these on videos, but it became a point when I was doing my first playthrough that my entire stream chat were in pain at how fucking garbage he was. One of my mods called him a turkey sandwich. That's how shit this voice actor is. And the thing that really bugs me, there's nothing wrong with being a bad actor, there's plenty of bad actors. There's everything wrong with a game from 20 years ago having a considerably better voice for Zack and not using it in this game. Why would you recast him and then recast him with the worst voice actor in the fucking history of thespians? It doesn't make any sense. It's so needless. I just don't get it. But anyhow, we're taking on a heli gunner, and he's weak to electricity, which at the moment I do not have, seemingly. But I do have Power Slash, and it's going to be a move you're going to be seeing a lot of because I didn't get what I was supposed to get at this point, and it's my best damage. And the best way to use it, guys, if you can, is to put it at the end of a combo. If you can put it at the end of a combo, you'll do max damage. If you can't, space a move, start it early, come down after they finish and smash them with it. It is one of the best ways to interrupt spells. It is also a good move for stunning the opponents. So if you need a stun, this can be the thing that'll do it. Like just then, it stunned 2 of those knife men, the G assassins. And it's slow to happen and it can be interrupted, but if you space it correctly, you can get away with murder with it. Like just then. And it is my go-to move. A lot of this walkthrough is going to seem a little bit spammy, guys. And to a casual observer, it might look really spammy. But there's a lot that goes into when you press some of these moves, because if you don't think about it, you can die really quickly in this game. Especially on an enemy that attacks really fast. Because we're still early on, this is all kind of kiddie stuff, and none of this will hurt too much. But it starts to hurt really quick. And once it starts hurting, it never stops. And you have to be really careful then. Fortunately for us, a lot of the monsters have very similar attacks, so once you learn the attack patterns, you have an idea of what's going on. And then the only things that will really get you are the silly stuff. Like there's a creature later on that's got incredible resistance to magic, incredible resistance to physical, and then after you fight it for a little while, it's like this big rhino thing. It starts doing a ground shockwave that hits you in the entire room, and it can hit you for ludicrous damage. And before you realise it, you can do darkness and kill that thing in like 2 hits. It's a really hard fight. But that's what this game's going to be. This game is all about finding what the enemy is weak to, and then exploiting it. Like there are these balls later on that are called like EX movers. They're a nightmare, real nightmare enemy. They cast all kinds of stuff. They cast ultimate, they cast flare, cast really bad things. Hard to dodge things as well. But if you hit them with gravity, it takes off tons of damage. If you can break the damage limit, it probably takes off even more. My greatest regret is that I don't know how to break the damage limit quickly on this game. So I never got to see what Graviga does when you have that. And I got really lucky actually, because I was trying to get the brutal accessory. And it takes a long time to get that accessory. Spoiler alert, I don't get it. But what I did do on my path to getting it is I leveled up the Buster Sword, and it enabled my skills to break damage limit, and that's how I beat the game. So, when you get the Buster Sword, guys, use it. Because once you get it to a certain percentage, I think it was like 13% or something, maybe 15%, it gives you the ability to do more damage. And when I did that, it changed everything. I went from fighting enemies for like 8 minutes to ending fights in a minute. Like, it was such a good improvement. And I didn't even know that existed. That was just a byproduct of me trying to get some accessories. And that's one of the cool things when you do a run like this, you learn so much. I don't know a lot about Crisis Core. I'm not a massive Crisis Core fan. I'm a big fan now because I think the game does some wonderful things. But I can't tell you what the best way to get strong in this game is, or what the best spells to use are. Like, I don't know what materia fuses with other materias to make the better stuff. Like, if we're talking Birth by Sleep, I've got all that information, because I did it. Well, I did it many years ago, but this game I did not. So, I don't know how to get, is it, like, Tri-Fire Arga quickly? I don't know how to get energy, and to get, is it Blast Zone, I think it's called? I ended up making some of those by accident, but all I was doing is I was mastering materia, sticking it in fusion, and looking what I could put with it and see what it created. And this is one of the areas where game knowledge really comes into its own. If you know the answers to these things I'm speaking about, you know where to go, because you know what you need, you know the constituents, and then you can make this cool shit. And that's why I like this game so much. Because it rewards a player that puts in the time. And now that they have a much more responsive combat system, it rewards a player that has mechanical ability. Because I can completely circumvent my limitations with my stats by being better at the game. And that's my favourite thing, when a game gives a player the option of either getting a better build or being a better player. That ticks every box. That was me accidentally using another item again. Again, guys, I'm trying to sprint while I'm in battle, but I'm not meaning to use items here. This is why I kept them in and I didn't like restart or anything, because I'm just trying to move quickly. It's one of those things, isn't it? It's going to happen. Hopefully it doesn't happen too much. I don't remember even doing this. But a lot of battles in this sequence. Definitely not a fan of how many random battles there are. It's a hold all from the old days of JRPGs, and it's one of those systems that never really works. How do you feel about random battles, guys? Because how I feel is when you want them, you never get them, and when you don't want them, you get them too much. I feel like it's this system that is built on a lot of systems underneath the hood that we can't see, but it always feels like whatever it is, it's a big fuck you to the player. And of course, changing stuff like this would be really difficult because this is an older game. I'll be really careful going ham here. The next fight is on the same HP bar, and it's really, really difficult. This fight here doesn't look like much, but once you run out of magic, it gets really hard. But I'm going to use all the magic I can to get rid of the gunner, and then we just have a couple of assassins. And the assassin doesn't do much. He does Blizzard, which can be ran away from. He does this knife combo, which is pretty good, but it's generally easy to get away from. And I'm getting hit by things I'm saying are easy to get away from, which is obviously very professional. But I get saved by the DMV, and alas, I can use the assault mode to get rid of them. But you see that? Because that is a dark Blizzard, it gave him 3 status effects, and one of them was stun, which is one of the strongest status effects in the game. I love that the spells have these other effects. I love the idea of making spells that dangerous. And this is what you do when you've got no abilities. You just kind of do as much damage as you can while safely not getting hit. That's his combo right there with a little jump on it. And we take him out, and that's the end of the fight. Now we can continue moving around this comedically sized warehouse. Some of the scale on some of the items in this warehouse really makes me laugh. This is one of those games where it's just, you can tell that it was made from love, but there are some things that make you wonder. Is this the Ifrit fight? Yeah, here we go. This is the one I spoke about in the previous video. But we're a lot stronger now, so we're going to put him down a lot quicker. And it's the same strategy, guys. Watch out for his kick, watch out for his slam, and then when he dodges away from you, he's going to throw 2 sets of the fireballs. Oh, this time he didn't even dodge. There's the first one, there's the second one. You can attack in between and interrupt him, and there's the attack. 2 hits, kick. Oh, he didn't do it, there's the slam. 2 hits, there it is, 2 hits, kick. That's the only thing you want to watch out for, the 2 hits into the kick. And he will do it semi-consistently if you're aggressive. There it was, see it? And now we're about to get Angeal to give us some nice stuff, and we're going to hit his ability to try and stop it. Hopefully Rush Assault works. It's only level 1, but it did work. And now he comes back in again. We might even be able to do this one no damage, if I actually pay attention. I don't think we have the no damage bonus yet, but that's going to come soon. Another reason I really like this game, because they prioritize and incentivize getting no damage, which is really cool. No damaging an RPG is a foreign concept to a lot of people. But this game technically can be done. If you're patient enough and you grind enough or you're skillful enough, you could no damage this whole game. Personally, I feel like that would involve a lot more build than player, because some situations... Oh, here we go. Another Ifrit fight. 2 Ifrit fights in a row. God damn. So many. Same concept as well, he just might be a bit beefier. I love this arena though. Look how cool this zone looks. I think when you do this, you get him as a roulette. so I'm definitely going to grab that. The more you have spinning up there, the better it tends to be when it comes to needing abilities. One thing I noticed on this playthrough is I never got Ares. I got Ares so much on my first playthrough, but on this one, she never turned up. Maybe I didn't do the right things. But there goes Ifrit. Did we get him? I didn't get Odin either. I got Odin on my first playthrough, but this time I didn't. Kind of weird. That guy's so cool, though. Ifrit looks amazing in this game. This game looks amazing in many ways. I suppose we've got to credit the remake for that, don't we? Because it's probably the same engine, or at least a derivative. But now we need to head back to Angeal's house, and there's a bunch of items we need to pick up, and I'm worried now, because I don't have jump, and I know that fucking Bahamut's turning up. And if you've never got to Bahamut early level, guys, this is a huge difficulty spike. This guy's got a lot of life, and he's got these hits that hit scan, pretty much. The first one is when he goes into the sky, he comes down, and when he lands, it hits you, and the timing on it's pretty tight. And then the second one is this cheeky stomp he's got. If you can learn those two moves, you'll be fine. The only problem then is stopping Mega Flare. If he hits you with Mega Flare, you might die. And then this is really goofy, but there's a few moments like this in the game where something really odd happens. And I don't know the point of this, but I kept it in because, you know, this game's cool. Later on, they give you a sniper rifle and ask you to shoot these robots, and it might be one of the worst minigames I've played in a long time, because the sniper rifle controls like the one in fucking Metal Gear Solid 1. It's unbelievably weird and shaky, and just what were they thinking? But we got all of them, and now I've got 45 seconds to pick up those items we couldn't pick up before and see if we can get something good. I don't know if you want to do this, guys. I do this for the purpose of the video, but if you just run to the house, you can get on with the game, because they end up giving you like 2 cock rings and a cockroach. Like, I was really hoping you'd get some cool materia or some cool accessory, but I just don't see the merit in what they gave you. Maybe I didn't pick up the right things, maybe there's something really good here I missed out on. One of the cool things about Final Fantasy is usually, if you know the games well enough, you'll know where all the crazy items are and get all the cool shit early. Like, I remember in Final Fantasy IX, when you steal from Baku at the start, you get the Mage Masher really early, and it's a super good weapon. That's the type of stuff that makes Final Fantasy so iconic to me. It's the small things, you know? And it's not always like that, of course, and there's not too many instances of it, but when there are, it's really nice. And then here we have Captain Bahamut, so you need to wait for the sound here, and then get hit by it, because I didn't dodge it very well. Lol. But laser orbs is one of those projectiles that you can run away from, but every so often it'll hit you, like it just did then. And all I'm going to do here is try my best not to trade with these moves, because they're massive. If you listen for it, right as it starts coming down, it starts to make a certain noise, and if you roll on that noise, you'll get past it. The stomp is the kind of the same. You get a feel for the times you have to press the button here. It's funny to think that I can take those hits like that, because on my first playthrough, I could not take many of these hits at all, and I had to learn the timings on all of this. I actually had to play this fight really well, as opposed to scrubbing it out like I am right now. Can I stop this? I'm going to use Hellfire right here. And I'm hoping it stops it. 2,000 damage is good, but did it do it? It did. Nice. So, here he goes. He's going up. Wait for him. Listen for him. Boom. Right there. See that? Looks easy, but it's not, guys. That's why I like it. The dodging in this game is actually very skillful. Oh, we got Ifrit again, so we can stop it again. What level? Level 2. Nice. Getting really lucky here with the DMV. What is he going to do? Is he going to do the stomp? Or is he's already dead? Damn. That was a very lucky fight, though, that one, guys. They don't always go like that. You need to be aware. You might get fucked. But I hope you don't. Thank you for watching. You take care now.